In this particular video, we're going to be sharpening the HSS high-speed steel drill bits and seeing how well this machine functions and see if we can actually bring our old drill bits back to life. Hi guys, I'm Ryan, I'm a joiner and I make fitted furniture for a living. And in today's video, we're going to be bringing back to life our old, worn down, high-speed steel, wood and metal drill bits. And if you're like me and you're procrastinating and you're saying to yourself, oh, I really need to sharpen all my drill bits, when am I actually going to get around to do it? And you've just kept them for years and years. In my example, probably 5-10 years worth of drill bits just sitting there. I've got loads, but I don't want to chuck them because they are salvageable. This tool sharpener here, the multi-sharp tool sharpener, will sharpen a whole range of drill bits for you, all the way from 3mm to 13mm. So I've got it out of the packet, I've gone through the instructions, I've had a little tinker for about 20 minutes, I've read through all the instructions and worked it all out for you. So all you need to do is follow me, guys, because these are quite complicated. It is a quite complicated little machine to use because it does so much. It's got so many bits to it that if you just follow this video on how to sharpen these HSS drill bits, you will have no problems whatsoever. So for me, I've got a nice bench I don't like screwing into. I've just got a little sacrificial board. I'm just going to get that clamped to the bench and then I'm going to screw my tool sharpener to my sacrificial board. This needs to be connected to a drill, so I'm going to have the spindle end. This is the spindle that spins the actual grinding wheels. I'm going to have that to my left. So just to go over your drills, mine has a lock, so I need to push the trigger. I've got the power off. Push the trigger and then push the lock in, and that will hold your drill on, and that's what we're going to need to do. Put it in your drill and just eye it up for now, like so. Just rig it up to see what works best for you, where you're going to have minimal movement and it holds nicely and still and firm in position like so. This moving around, this needs to be fixed down and it comes with this little shoe, okay, which slots into the bottom. You can see here we've got the angled part here. We're going to go for the flat square part over there, which we're going to draw around with a pencil, just as a little guide. Now we can just slide this slightly out the way. We've got our little line roughly where our shoe's going to go. We are simply going to put the shoe in the bottom like this. We've got the step underneath. We've got the countersunk top. Spin that around and that will simply just slide in and lock into position underneath this little tab like so. And let's pull that back out, spin it around and get that screwed down. Again, this is how it's going to be screwed down. Countersunk holes up. Place that onto my little marks which I made earlier. 2 screws provided. We're going to get that fixed down. We could then go ahead and slide the shoe into that slot here. That's the slot it's going to slide into. It might be a bit stiff. There we go. Your drill will probably come with a handle. If you spin that around, with the handle pushed down here, push this handle down also, lock that one into position, and that will help keep that drill stable. Anyway, make sure that you connect your drill now properly to the spindle. So the maximum speed it says is 3000 RPM. Mine actually goes 3000 RPM. So that might be perfect. It also says 850 watts. This is 850 watts. So this might be perfect. Although it sounded really fast when I turned it on. I'm now going to connect the drill up to my spindle and get that locked in position. Just tighten my chuck up. You can do this before you fix down your sharpener. Now I'm happy that's in the right place. I'm going to give it a spin. It does sound a bit too fast, full power. So as you can see, I've got power on the wall just there, right next to where I'm standing. So that could be my on and off switch if I need it. And remember, you can always use a cordless if you want to, but you won't have the trigger lock on it, just like the mains drill does. So I did try one earlier before I started the video. Like I said, the instructions are quite tricky to work out how this thing works, but if you're following step by step, it'll be fine. But yeah, it came out better than I thought. As soon as I did it, it took about 30 seconds, not even that. And it came out spot on. What I've got is a really blunt drill bit. I'm going to show you how blunt it is, and then I'm going to throw it in the machine and show you how to use it. So there we go. I picked a 10mm, and I'm going to put that in my drill. Not very sharp, giving it a little test, but I'll show you now how blunt it actually is. This is what the drill bit looks like at the tip. Chipped, not very good, really dull on both edges. Because most of the time, all this part of your drill bit is absolutely fine. It's just the main tip that gets beaten up the most. With a 10mm, I'm using the collet with the bigger hole. When you squeeze the two, you'll see one with the bigger hole. Okay, I'm going to go for that collet, and that slips into the turret. Okay, this is called a turret. Slip the collet into the turret, put the cap on, a couple of turns. As you can see, this has got ribs on both sides, there and there, and you're going to need to know that because that lines up with the turret holder where it says set mass. We've got one little slot there, and then if we look here, we've got HSS. Okay, that's the wider slot. To set this drill bit up to the right depth, we're going to have to put it into this slot to set it up. Okay, first I'm going to clip these into the section of the sharpener that says HSS, this section here. Wording facing forward like so. Click that into position like so. Because we need to get this drill bit in the right height. Okay, and you're thinking, well, how do we get that in the right height? What we have here is called a settler. Push that settler down like so, and then we can just move that back over to the left like so. And just remember that these two ribs here, you've got a rib here, one on one side, one on the other. They need to go into the really small slots there that says set mass. I'm going to push my drill bit in like so. If you spin it, it should lift your drill bit up, and then if you just keep spinning it left and right, it should find its own center. What that's basically doing is hitting the settler, which is basically the depth stop for the drill bit. Once you're happy, you could just nip that up. Okay, so if we have a look underneath, you'll see a left and a right line on the underside of the turret. What you need to do is make sure that your drill bits, cutting edges, got one there and one there, are completely in line with those lines, okay? So now that is set up, these two ribs now go into a different position in the turret holder. So if I just pull this out once more for you, you've got the wider slot there. But before we do that, we're going to have to move the settler out the way. So this is a sliding carriage, as you know, that moves all the way to the right. We're going to move the settler out the way now, and then we're going to push that all the way back over to the full left position. Then we're going to get our turret with our drill bit all set up, and the two ribs are going to now line up with the HSS wider slot. And you should just be able to twist your drill bit and turret at the same time. Now we are ready to sharpen our drill bit. If your drill is too fast, I've got a little tip for you. Just use a hairband or an elastic band just to hold your trigger on as much as you want. I'll give you a little demo because your drill might be spinning too fast. I feel like this drill is far too fast. 3000 is too fast. So I could just get my hairband there and I could just hold the trigger on and it's doing its thing. Okay. Or I could just take the hairband, elastic band off. Just to note, you will see a little gap there between that little tab and the actual turret holder, because as you're grinding, it's going to work its way down and officially stop on the turret holder. So that's when you're going to know when the grinding's finished. So let's get this show on the road. Before we do, we're going to have to do it in 2 sets, okay? We're going to have to grind a few times. It says about 10 left and rights on one side, and then you flip it over 180, and then you're just going to go ahead and do that again. And put it back in, line it up with the right slots. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over 180. I'm also just going to put that speed up a little bit. There we go. Sounds like a washing machine. Right, that's a little grind. Let's show you how that has come out so far. So we are getting there. That's one side. Flip it around. That's the other side. I'm going to go ahead and put that back in and do some more grinding. Spin it round. Okay, so a little tip is to utilise the whole grinding stone and not to wear it out in one position. Move it backwards and forwards like so. To slide the carriage left and right, and the other hand to twist the drill bit. Okay, let's turn it off, see what we got. Here we go. This is the finished product. It's about a minute's worth of grinding, and it looks pretty damn awesome if you ask me. Nice and even. Lovely. Let's give it a test. We've got a nice new drill bit, nice and sharp, I'm hoping. So, put it in the drill. Yeah, that's sharp. So let's do another test, okay? I broke down a door for a project that I had, and the door was laminated with ash both sides and ply. So it's really, really dense material. It's about 45 millimeters thick. I'm gonna put that on top of there because I don't want to drill into my bench if I go through. Okay, let's give it a go. Whoa, that's super sharp, man. Should we do another one, close up? Nice and crisp. So let's summarize the video. What do I think of the multi-sharp drill bit sharpener? I think overall it works really, really well. At first, when I first was like, I'm going to make this video, I need to sharpen my drill bits, I'm going to make a video of it. I got the sharpener out the cupboard after about, I don't know, it's probably 8 years at least. Picked up the instructions and I was like, oh, damn, I do not want to read those. I don't do instructions. I usually just pick something up and figure out how it works. But I was forced to because there's so many bits and pieces and it needs setting up correctly. But I've done the dirty work for you. I've told you how to put the settler down, how to slide the carriage, how to assemble it, what each bit does. So just follow those steps step by step and it should be absolutely fine. It does do other bits and pieces. It will do flat bits. It will do the center point bits, masonry bits, SDS bits, but you just may need to read those instructions to figure out if there's any difference in the setting up. But overall, you saw the drill bit. It was really, really rough. It was blunt as anything. Wouldn't even go through softwood. Old softwood that's been left outside in the garden and it's near enough rotten. It wasn't going through that. And then we just sharpened it up together and we drilled through the softwood with these and also the ash with birch ply in between. Overall, I'm thinking this is pretty decent. I'm going to go through the whole set of drill bits. It might take me a while and then I'll come back to you after I've sharpened them all and I'll look over the machine and work out if the durability and the longevity is actually any good on this little machine. But the main question, I guess, at the end of this whole video is, should you buy it or should you not? It's probably a no-brainer, yes. Give it a go. It's only £20. It seemed like it done a really, really good job for me. Gave me a nice sharp drill bit, even though that drill bit was dead. And once you've got it set up and it's all set up like so, it's easy to use. So I hope you did enjoy, guys. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Have you got one of these? How do you sharpen your drill bits? So have a great Friday. I will see you next Friday. Take it easy. Ciao for now.